Testing 1, 2, test. Oh, Lord. Okay. Hello, everybody. All right, last night we were working on some symbol patterns from the stick control book, and we're going to continue with the symbol pattern number 9. We were working on combination 23 and 24. So tonight we're going to hit 25. Were there any questions on last night's lesson? I did say when I'm doing the lesson, I'm going to do the lesson, then ask for questions. So I'm going to do combination number 25. Okay? And if you're watching, get into the chat. And I'm having some audio issues, so perhaps you could help me out and say you could hear me or you can't hear me. And I'll make the adjustment. Okay? I guess you could hear me then. Good. How are you, Joe? All right, we're on stick control book, the stick control symbol patterns number 9, the Chaffee combination number 25. Now, before I go into the lesson, I do need to say this. I don't know, Joe. I don't know. It doesn't really matter because I've been getting a lot of views. You know, with the weather changing and the school system starting and people living in the UK, people living in South America and Canada and California and Texas. There's a lot of different time zones. So I feel that 7:30 is a good time. Starting maybe next month, I might start doing a 1 p.m. lesson. I'm not sure. But like I was saying before, I gave you symbol pattern number 1, number 2, number 3, and the Chaffee page, the grouping of 22. So you keep them for a while, but you're going to be getting something a little different that's going to correspond with our lessons. Okay? All right. Now, what we have now, again, is that 1EN, 2EN, 3EN, 4EN. Now we're on number 3. The symbol pattern number 25, symbol pattern number 9. And the Chaffee combination 25. Again, we permutate 1EN. It's going on the AND. So all the 1 and 3, the bass drum is going to be the same. 1 E and 2. Okay? All right, here we go. Line number 1. Measure number 1, rather. We have 1 E and 2 E and 3 E and. That's the basic premise. That 2 and 4. Okay, so now we're on the and. 1 E and 2 E and 3 E and 4 E and. Okay, we move over to number 2. Now the bass drum is going to be added to the E of 2 and the E of 4. Nice and slow. 1 E and 2 E and 3 E and 4 E and 1 E and 2 E and 3 E and 4 E and. Is that better, Joe, for you? What I'm doing is I'm playing a little bit faster tonight. I'm doing it slow, then playing a little faster. Measure number 2, line number 1. Nice and slow. 1 E and 2 E and 3 E and 4 E and 1 E and 2 E and 3 E and 4 E and. Okay, so I'm just going to hang out a little bit and, you know, kind of improvise on that pattern. As you see, the feel is coming here. Line number 2, measure number 1. This time the bass drum is going to be on the and of 1, the and of 2, the and of 3, and the and of 4. So we have 1 E and 2 E and 3 E and 4 E and 1 E and 2 E and 3 E and 4 E and. We go to the second measure. Now we move the bass drum over. Instead of the and of 2, it's going to be on the da of 2. 1 E and 2 E and 4 E and. Now there's a couple different ways how I approach this. You know, everybody's at a different level. Everybody has some coordination issues. So when I first started this, it would drive me crazy. I would take it so slow I would fall asleep in between each count. For example, let's go to the second line, the second measure. This is how slow you should take it. 1 E and 2 E and 3 E and 4 E and. Now I would stay there for a while, okay? And feel that. Get it strong. Get it going on. So that's one of the approaches I would highly recommend. Also, being that the bass drum is going to be on 2, I mean, the snare drum is going to be on 2 and 4, you're counting 16ths. 1 E and 2 E and 3 E and 4 E and. Now I'm going to add the bass drum just to get the feel and play the 2 and the 4, okay? Here we go. Line number 2, measure number 2. 1 E and 2 E and 3 E and 4 E and 1 E and 2 E and 3 E and 4 E and. Or if you feel more comfortable, just play the right hand part in the bass drum alone. 1 E and 2 E and 3 E and 4 E and 1 E and 2 E and then you put them together. Okay, so second measure. 1 E and 2 E and. All right, line number 3. Now we add a bass drum to the E and of 2 and the E and of 4. So nice and slow. 1 E and 2 E and 3 E and 4 E and 1 E and 2 E and 3 E and 4 E and. Now, this has nothing to do with any particular kind or any particular song. It's just combinations and variations of how to strengthen your coordination. Okay, so on line 3, the second measure. This time we're changing the bass drum pattern on the count of 2. On the count of 2, the bass drum is going to be 2 E and So on here I'm going to play just the bass drum part by itself. Okay, line 3, second measure, and I'm maintaining that 16th note count. 1 E and 2 E and 3 E and 4 E and 1 E and 2 E and 3 E and 4 E and. Then I feel how the bass drum is flowing. So now I'm going to put the backbeat on 2 and 4. 1 E and 2 E and 3 E and 4 E and 1 E and 2 E and 3 E and 4 E and. That's just a different approach. Okay, now let's add 1 E and 2 E. Here we go. 1 E and 2 E and 3 E and 4 E and 1 E and so on and so forth. Okay, now we go to the 4th line, first measure. Now the bass drum is going to shift again, okay, to the and of 2 and the and of 4. So let me just play the count of 2 with the snare drum and bass drum. 2 E and again. 2 E and Now let's put the whole bass drum part together with the 2 and 4. 1 E and 2 E and 3 E and 4 E and 1 E and 2 E and. Just make it strong. Hang out there for a while. Feel it. Okay? Now we add the right hand. 1 E and 2 E and 3 E and 4 E and 1 E and 2 E and 3 E and 4 E and 1 E and. And the approach gets a little bit different, and that's a good thing. Man, I got to clean these glasses. I said that last night. Okay, now let's go to the 4th line, the last measure, second measure, line 4. It does get hot in here. Okay, line 4, nice and slow. Again, bass drum, snare drum. Bass drum, right? Now on the count of 2, we're playing the bass drum on E and the. The bass drum throughout this particular pattern, on this particular combination rather, it remains on the and of 1 constant. So I'm going to play just the last measure, bass drum and snare drum. 1 E and play E and 1 E and 2 E and 3 E and 4 E and 1 E and 2 E and. Okay, and we add the right hand. All right, that's good that you're following. I'm doing it as slow as possible without me falling asleep or making my audience fall asleep. But anyway, let's do the last measure with everything. 1 E and 2 E and 3 E and 4 E and 1 E and 2 E and. But notice how that right hand is constant. It's down, tap, up, down, tap, up, 1 E and 2 E and. That looks very mechanical, robot, being a robot or whatever you want to call it. When I'm playing, it's there. 1 E and 2 E and. Okay, now just a supplementary exercise for all of these combinations with this particular cymbal pattern. A good bass drum exercise will be constant 16ths. 1 E and 2, 3 E and 4 E and. You get that one, Joe? That's a good exercise. That'll burn your shin. Okay, that will complete. Oh, before I forget, try these open-handed, because when you're right-handed, it becomes a little bit easier. Okay, but when you're left-handed, it's kind of awkward because you're always going to the right side. So what happens now when you try it left-handed or open-handed, so to speak, what happens is you need to get more focus. Let's go back to line number 1, the first measure. Now, what you're doing with the left is the same as you were doing with the right. See that? So now, let's do 1 E and 2 E and 3 E and 4 E and go through the whole thing. You're an open-handed player, Joe. Why don't you come to New Jersey and we'll do a show together, you and I. I'll have another set of drums there, 2 cameras, and I'll be the student, you be the teacher, or vice versa, however you would like to. Hold on a second. That would be something good. But I don't see you coming into any of the other groups. But anyway, of the art of drumming. Anyway, that's about what I wanted to let's go on to another one. Number 25. Let's go on to 26. I like 20 or 26. Where's 26? You know, it's best to do all of these, both right-handed and left-handed. Now, the sequence is always the same with Gary Chaffee. He's a great teacher, a great player, and he's very, very organized, and he understands he understands the needs and the development of the student, which I totally admire about him. I have a huge respect for him. Okay, so now we're going to go to combination number 26. All right, and again, it's the same pattern, 1 E and da. This time the bass drum's going to the da. 1 E and da. Okay, now, again, the same sequence. Line 1, second measure, nice and slow. 1 E and 2 E and 3 E and 4 E and. See how the sequence is the same? You're always in trouble, Paul. Okay. Anyway, we're working right now with the stick control cymbal pattern number 9, and we're on combination 26. I hate to go backwards a little bit in review, so whatever you missed, you might want to watch the video once it's processed. Okay? And I'm going to speak a little bit here, like I said to Joe, hold on to the cymbal patterns that I gave you, but I'm doing something a little different, so you're going to get a whole different kind of thing happening with the reading here. What I'm going to do, you'll see when you get it. All right, what do we got? 10,000 people in here and only 2 guys in the chat. Unbelievable. Like I just gave Joe a little example of a bass drum, 16ths, 1 E and a 2, 3, 4, 1 E and a 2 E and a 3 E and a quarter notes, 1 E and a 2, 3, eighth notes, 1 E and a 2 E and a 3 E and a 4, 16. Now you do that bass drum for 10 minutes like that. Okay, that's what I did say, Paul. And you're in trouble all the time. Okay, now, I'd like to stay for another week or 2 on these combinations. All right? And I happen to think this is going to lead everybody into some funk. All right? As opposed to the fat back. I mean, it's going to lead everybody into fat back. Is that okay with you, gentlemen? I'm going to put them all together. You should have them by maybe Monday or Tuesday. But that's what we're going to be doing. Now, after we do the heavy backbeat, I'm going to try to do some fat back with these and the stick control book again. It's really going to help you. But the thing is, you need to use a metronome. You need to get the bass drum going. All right. Everything sounds good, but all of a sudden I get distracted and it just doesn't happen. Other than what I'm giving you guys, what do you guys practice? I mean, you know, we're working on the combinations. Is that all you practice, or you have a routine? Share that with us. You know, like that bass drum pattern, you know, if I was doing, for example, like what we just did, 1 E and the 2 quarter notes, 1 E and the 2 E and the 3 E and the 4 E and eighth notes, 3 E and the 4 E and the 1 E and the 2 E and the 3 E and the 4. Whatever you want to do, or the paradiddle sonata, 2 E and the 3 E and the 4 E and the 1. Or whatever cymbal pattern you select. I wouldn't hurt myself here now. What I would do, okay, is definitely, you know, take maybe 5 or 6 different cymbal patterns, drop into 2 and 4, and playing the cymbal pattern on the hi-hat, and playing straight 16ths for a minute, minute and a half. You do it for a minute and a half, you stop, relax, get a drink of water, a cup of coffee, come back and do the next one. Now, you do not want to hurt yourself, because you can. You know, a lot of guys say, no pain, no gain. This is not football, basketball, baseball, or soccer, or boxing, or karate, or all that shit. What this is about is you developing a relaxed feel, all right, and developing those muscles to be relaxed and to play for a long period of time. That's why you're doing the 16ths. And it's going to make all these patterns a lot easier. Maintain the consistent sound on the hi-hat and the snare drum and plow that bass drum, because what this kind of stuff is, the bass drum is the dominant voice. That's really good, Paul. You must, how long you practice every day? 3, 4, 5 hours? Now, the lesson is over, and I just need to explain something about, being a family man, or, having a day job, or whatever it might be. I don't exactly remember the date, but it had to be at least 20 years ago. Modern Drummer had a contest or giveaway of the Neil Peart drum set. And guess who won? One of my students. This guy, man, he'd take the bed with him, his drumsticks. And he had a beautiful wife. Instead of, showing her some attention, he'd take his drumsticks and his stick control book, and he won the Neil Peart drum set. But he lived in such a small house, he could not keep the set there. So what he did was he kept it at my drum studio. At that time, I had one in Metuchen, New Jersey. Well, all right. The question, and he won the drum set. Do you know this guy would practice 3, 4, 5 hours a day? And his wife gave him the ultimatum. It's either me or the drums. Well, he's still with his wife. And he sold the set. I don't know what he got for the drum set. But yeah, Paul, you practice a half hour a day, which is fine. But you have to be productive. It's so hard, to sit on a drum pad for a half hour or an hour, especially in a room like this when you have the drum set saying, psst, psst, come here, come here, come here. Yeah, you want to play. You want to be productive. You set your goal for that half hour, 45 minutes, an hour, whatever it is that you're going to practice. Say you want to do the stick control book, half strokes with the vamp at 150 for 10 minutes. You do it. You want to practice paradiddles. You want to practice the jazz pattern. But set your goal and do it. You be productive. And if you do it every day, at the end of the week or the end of you're going to be productive and you're going to get better. And we're going to go to the jazz patterns again, but I'd like to stay with this for a while, if you gentlemen don't mind. How's that sound, Joe and Paul? And it's time for me to leave, and I hate it. I'm in a situation here where, and let me explain. I like to stay at 8:30, but tonight I can't. All right, the reason why I can't is because my wife is at work, my son goes to college, and my daughter's in high school. But my daughter plays basketball in a league on Tuesdays and Thursdays. She finishes at 8:30, so I need to go and pick her up. Now, if I can, I will try. I can't promise. I will try to do a lesson again tomorrow night. Okay? Only because I missed Monday. Now, come the colder weather and the time change of East, what is it? I don't even know. Set the clocks back, set them forward, whatever it might be. I might start afternoon lessons as well. So, what I like to do with the afternoon lessons is keep it on a very beginner, intermediate kind of thing. Okay? And the evening lessons, we're going to continue to do the Chaffee book, the Syncopation book, the Morello book, whatever books we're going to work with. And we're going to be intense. But, there are all these drummers from all over the world who are at different levels. Okay? So if there, I need to run right now. It's 8 o'clock. You're late, Paul. You watched the video on the processes, and you too, Joe. And if you have any questions, you have my email. Give me a shout. Say help or no, I made a mistake or I shouldn't do this. Should I do that? That's what it's about, man. It's communication. That's the internet age. It's like, or I can give you my phone number. You can give me a call. I have no problem with that. Okay, you guys who are in the Art of Drumming group, I hope everybody here is. When I reach 100,000 members, which we're getting close, like I said, I am going to have a drum clinic or a drum festival weekend on a Saturday and Sunday. And I'm going to have some great players doing clinics, and maybe Bernard Purdy would stop by. I know Mark Walker and Mike Clark and Alan Herman and whoever. Get some more new guys. And we'll just have a blast. I wish I could spend more time, guys, and I will. All right? I don't know exactly how the schedule is being next week, but as soon as the basketball season's over, you know how that is, Paul. You're committed to all these little kids, and you can't disappoint them either. But anyway, as soon as the time changes again, daylight savings time, or whatever it is, the hell you call it, well, I'm going to try to do the afternoon lessons as well. Let me see what the attendance might be then. Okay? Any questions? Nope. Okay. Any problems? Yep. Time. Time is the problem. Make great use of your time. That's the trick. No, it's not a trick. That's the fact. All right? So, gentlemen, join the Art of Drumming group or all the other 12, 13, 14 groups I have on Facebook. And, man, there's a lot of drummers in there, and you'll learn. You have some intelligent conversations, and, unfortunately, there's people who can't speak English that well, and they do have a problem communicating. So you have to be nice and try to understand what they're talking about. Okay, with all that being said, it's time for Uncle Matt to go pick his daughter up. Nighty-night. Okay, nighty-night. All right, guys, have a good night. We'll see you maybe tomorrow night. I'm not sure. Check your email then to tell you I'm live, okay? So have a good night, and remember, any questions, drop me an email. Take care, guys.